Next on Most Daring. Oh my God! From asphalt outlaws to careless commuters. It's green light go on Wild Behind the Wheel. Tonight, a wayward lemon truck sours the morning commute. But first, a four-wheeled monster goes on a full-throttle rampage. Plus, a dragster wipes out and puts a cameraman in the path of destruction.
Oh, my God!
And later, it's dangerous women drivers, where applying makeup while in motion is always a bad idea. These are the most heart-stopping moments ever caught on tape. True stories of real people in real danger.
Holy cow.
This is Most Daring. Wild Behind the Wheel.
Lakeland, Florida. Sick tricks on two wheels are the staple of pros throwing down at Stunt Wars.
Stunt Wars is a national competition for motorcycles, for motorcycle stunt riders, basically.
Daredevil Kyle Woods isn't scheduled to perform, but the lure of the spotlight is too hard to resist.
Every other year I'm competing. That year I was announcing. It's real hard for me to only announce and not be able to get on a bike.
But he's forgotten the golden rule of stunt riding.
There's your helmet, Kyle. There's your helmet, Kyle.
One of my friends is telling me to put a helmet on, and I'm like, I don't need it.
Or so he thinks.
We need the paramedics right now. We need the paramedics.
It's a little move he likes to call wheelie to whiplash.
We need the paramedics right now.
I don't even realize this, but the clutch cable just snapped. I mean, complete mechanical failure.
The faulty gear wire may have put Kyle permanently on the fritz.
Paramedics right now.
I get knocked unconscious, fractured 3 of my ribs, fractured 3 vertebrae in my neck, and I was just not doing good.
To everyone's surprise, the battered showman makes it to his feet.
Kyle Wilson standing up. Let's get a round of applause for Kyle Wilson.
He'll need some serious rehab to get his career back on track. But next time he'll wear a helmet. After the track, put him on his back. DeKalb, Illinois. It takes a rare breed of professionals to control these motorized monsters. Janine Sostak and her children are right up front with a camera to catch the action.
The engine noise was very loud, and it was exciting. It was very energetic, and the kids were excited.
It was like, oh my gosh, that's how loud it was, because it was like vibrating the ground. It was like really loud.
Janine and her family assume the jockeys of these giants have it all under control. It's a tragic assumption.
All of a sudden, here it is coming at me in the street. And it's like, oh my God, we have to move, we have to move.
A hard off-center landing ruptures a key fluid line that turns the big-wheeled beast into a transformer of terror. The huge Hulk plows its way through the crowd and rolls past young Alex, missing him by mere inches. The truck finally comes to rest across a set of train tracks. Looking back, somehow Janine's own kids knew they were in the wrong place at the wrong time.
The kids, I think they had a sixth sense about that, because both of them, my oldest son and my eldest daughter, were saying, Mommy, I'm scared, what do we do?
But maybe Mommy should have trusted her kid's instincts. The buzzsaw behemoth mows down 9 people. Incredibly, all survive.
I have no idea to this day how everybody got out of the way in time.
Perhaps if adults and officials paid more attention to their clairvoyant children, they'd know there really are such things as monsters. It's a fine line between wild and in control. And that's exactly where pro racers thrive. In Immokalee, Florida, videographer Sean Melton has a unique appreciation for these barons at the blacktop.
They're going 150 to 200 miles an hour, and it just takes a second for everything to go horribly wrong.
Sean scores a primo spot to film 2 headlining hot rods.
We were shooting on a tripod, which is mounted up on top of a ladder, so I can get a nice vantage point, to see what's going on.
But this cameraman didn't expect an extreme close-up. The skidding sports car rides on 2 wheels and slams into a concrete wall. It flips along the barrier. 2 tons of debris flying toward the photographer.
The throttle probably hung up. Once the car went airborne and I saw it come down on my side of the fence, I was off the ladder. Just kept running from there.
The man and his camera survived the runaway race car.
Hold on, dude!
The driver may not be as lucky. But his dragster turns out to be the only casualty.
Driver's okay.
The man makes it out with just minor injuries. The damage could have been much worse. A point one photog knows all too well.
I've probably filmed over 500-600 crashes, but this was by far the scariest situation I've ever filmed at a drag strip.
Sean's videos help convey the sensation of being a competitive drag racer, including the distinct taste of danger. Whether they're newbies or wannabes, nothing spells trouble like a novice at the wheel. Laguna Beach, California. Of the basic skills of driving, gas, brake, turn, and park, it appears Michael Otero missed the last class.
I see a 7-Eleven I frequent once in a while. So I pull over, I go into the 7-Eleven. I'm only thinking Pepsi. That's all I want is my big gulp, my Pepsi.
With his mind on his next beverage, Michael doesn't notice his brand new truck rolling away even before he closes the door.
I leave my keys in the ignition, and everybody knows not to leave your keys in the ignition, but I did.
As if guided by a ghost driver, the pickup spins around the corner and disappears. It would be a nifty hide-and-seek trick, but Michael's not in on the game.
I pay for the drink no longer than a minute and a half. I come out of the store. This truck is gone. It's like, is somebody playing a joke on me? Am I being punked? But I can't be being punked because I'm not famous.
2 minutes later, Otero calls the police to report the stolen vehicle. But what they find on the surveillance tape is like an X-Files case come true.
Out of the 7-Eleven, across the street, into a parking lot, and parked itself parallel. Put itself in park and back in gear. Still, I cannot believe what happened.
Whether it's magic or just dumb luck, it seems Michael knows his sweet ride is something special.
It just backed out, went and parked itself like Herbie the Love Bug. You know, I call it a hole-in-one. It was just amazing.
Durham, North Carolina. Over the years, this railroad bridge has picked up an ominous nickname, the Guillotine. And a nearby traffic camera records the reason why. A careless trucker plows into the support beams, peeling back his trailer's roof like a can of sardines. At only 11 feet 8 inches high, it's easy to see why the notorious overpass forces shippers to play a daily game of smaller or taller. But with multiple warning signs highlighting the danger, towing company owner Scott Johnson has little sympathy for the reckless rollers.
Big yellow sign, flashing lights, alarms, and they still don't seem to pay attention to them.
Including the driver of this hefty rig. Concrete and steel make short work of the heavy mover, ripping open a new sunroof in an instant. And no sooner does this wreck get cleared than another long hauler speeds in. Mark another one in the taller column.
We had one hit the bridge, and on the front of his truck, he had Master of Disaster. And we told him it fit him perfect.
Fit might not be the right word for it. This massive ride gets the Ginsu treatment. The overpass slices the top off the metal trailer in a perfect de-roofing. Incredibly, these accidents happen on an average of once a month, although injuries are uncommon.
Their pride is hurt more than anything because they can't believe they've done something this stupid.
And Scott has his own theory why truckers have trouble with the guillotine.
They're all dumbasses.
Time and time again, all of these amateurs learn that their skills have limits. And that limit is 11 feet, 8 inches. Vancouver, Canada.
Off, turn on.
Riding a motorcycle can be tricky for a first-timer.
How do I do that? It's a little switch right there. Okay, good. Right on. That's the switch.
But Andrew Clements has his cousin to show him the ropes.
So, the only time you ever start a bike is when that neutral light is on.
It's graduation time. The student is ready to take the reins. Unfortunately, he never learned how to work the brakes.
Stop!
Instead, Andrew terminates his maiden voyage with a little help from the parking lot wall. So much for beginner's luck.
Are you okay?
At least the knucklehead didn't suffer serious injury.
Let's see.
Just a nasty nosebleed.
You're fine.
And a bruised ego. Andrew may have gotten free motorcycle lessons, but he paid through the nose.
You're fine.
From desperate fugitives to blitz drivers.
Sit down before you hurt yourself.
The wildest threat on the road is from asphalt outlaws. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
I'm doing 115 and this car's passing me.
commuters suddenly find themselves terrorized by a reckless wheelman running from the law. Their only question, will one of them get taken out with the trash?
He was going in and out of traffic, high rates of speed, at easily 130 miles an hour. Driving on the shoulders, inside shoulder, having no regard for anybody except for himself.
The two suspects fled after being stopped for a minor traffic infraction. Now they're blazing down the interstate so fast, Trooper Ian Rozier can't even lay down spikes in time.
There's a highway patrol car up here on the side of the road, and he's throwing them out right now and just missed them.
I attempted to throw out stop sticks, unsuccessful. I believe I hit his car.
Just missed him.
The suspect proves to be infuriatingly slick.
Here's stop sticks. He's pulling up and just missed him again.
Even as he burns rubber, he keeps the officers from shredding his tires. By the time Rozier catches up to him, he knows there's only one thing to do.
They're going to try to take him out right here.
The second he gets a clear opening, he goes for it.
They tried the TBI right there.
Just as I was setting up, the guy slams on his brakes, and I slam on my brake, and I hit him too high.
The suspect recovers, but the thought of getting nailed again at 100 miles an hour has him reconsidering.
Getting off the highway.
Okay, is he going to get on the parkway?
His escape backfires immediately.
That's it. He's into a parking lot there at a restaurant.
Hopefully.
Going to get him right here.
There was a stoplight there. Traffic was just totally backed up. And at that point, I realized that the pursuit needed to end. He pulls into a parking lot, runs over a sign, hit him on the back right, spun him around, and pressed on the gas.
Rozier leaps from his car, gun at the ready. He finds that the scofflaw has one more dose of wild left in him.
As soon as we go to the ground, he tucks his left hand under his chest. I don't know what he's going for.
Fortunately, he's not armed, and he's soon under control. The pair was running from much more than a traffic violation. They have outstanding warrants in their home state of Missouri. But when they unleash their lawless ways on the streets of Oklahoma,
he's pulling up and just missed him again.
Trooper Rozier came sweeping down the plain to take them out. Vero Beach, Florida.
Willie called me on 2 and said it's possible. 57.
Sergeants Douglas Pierce and Carl Nelson have given hundreds of sobriety tests.
Step on out here for a moment, sir.
But this driver just won't stand for it. The inebriated motorist folds under pressure.
Are you okay?
Again.
Sir, stop that. What are you doing?
And again.
Sit down before you hurt yourself.
And again.
What's the matter with you?
At first, I thought he was faking, that he was, trying to throw me off.
Sir!
This, by far, is probably the most unusual case that I've ever seen. It's kind of like someone's turning the lights out on him.
515. I said, get me an ambulance here. 1018. I got something here.
As they wait for paramedics, the officers try to get some answers.
What kind of stuff you taking? Huh? You're full of it, sir. What were you taking? Just tell me. You look like you need some serious help here. Oh, yeah.
It just amazes me that he didn't crash into someone and cause, innocent people to die that day, including himself.
Finally, EMTs arrive.
Guys, I think we got either an OD here or something. He won't tell me what he's taking.
Tests later show that the man was high on GHB. It's a powerful narcotic made from floor stripper, which may explain why this user kept hitting the deck.
What's the matter with you?
Zurich, Switzerland. Outraged workers take to the streets to demand a higher minimum wage. But unfortunately, the driver of this white sedan isn't a union sympathizer. The seething bully plows his way into the crowd, looking to clear a path. Then, screams of horror as the man viciously jams the pedal to the metal. Terrified demonstrators scramble to get out of the way. Only one doesn't make it. A protester is trapped under the engine, and he's dragged down the avenue. A trail of blood stains the asphalt behind the vehicle for almost an entire city block, until the battered victim finally rolls out. Emergency workers are soon on the scene. The man's body is a grisly mess, but incredibly, he survives. He's even conscious and speaks to paramedics. The road rager is arrested. And after this disgusting automotive assault, he can expect to be dragged into court. As we're about to see, thinking you can beat bad weather while behind the wheel is a very slippery slope. A winter storm has left treacherous roads throughout Dallas, Texas. Despite applications of sand and salt, cars have been slipping off the pavement at an alarming rate. A tractor-trailer is the latest victim of the harsh conditions. It won't be the last.
Oh, this is bad. This is bad.
As news cameras roll, a speeding truck jackknifes on a nearby overpass. It slams into a reporter's SUV and explodes. The fiery behemoth slides to a halt down the freeway. The photographer, who had just left his vehicle, narrowly avoids the onslaught of debris. Seconds later, the trucker emerges, having survived the incinerating blast. But there's no sign of his passenger anywhere. A closer look reveals the man flying out of the twisting can some 200 feet away. Incredibly, they find him still alive. Meanwhile, the flood of spilled gasoline has reignited the semi. The big rig is a total loss, but thankfully no lives were claimed as collateral damage. It's an amazing outcome to what could have been an epic tragedy. After this terrifying showdown of fire and ice.
Oh, this is bad. This is bad.
Heavy rains in Livonia, Michigan have caused a work truck to crash into an underpass. But that accident will be nothing compared to the sequel. Fellow employee Nick Blanding arrives just minutes after police.
Around 7:35, I got the call. It was raining from the morning all the way to the evening. A constant rain, nonstop.
A second cruiser pulls up to the scene. But as Nick and his driver Reggie speak with the officer to arrange for a tow, another car rains even more terror. Nick catches a glimpse of the hydroplaning sedan milliseconds before impact.
I knew we were going to get hit. I was scared. I've never been that scared before in my life. So it knocked the police officer up in the air. It knocked Reggie on the back of his head. It hit me on my hip. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Nick is quickly on his feet, knowing he's in much better shape than the policeman.
After he called for the help, he didn't move anymore. It's like he was unconscious.
But they're soon shocked to find yet another casualty of the violent chain reaction. Another co-worker, Mona Bradley, was behind the company truck when it suddenly came flying toward her.
So I stuck my hands out like Wonder Woman, like I'm going to stop this truck, divert the truck away from me. And, of course, that didn't work out, so,
The flustered motorist reports that another car cut him off, causing him to lose control on the wet pavement. Backup units quickly converge and clear the wounded from harm's way until ambulances can arrive.
I had 3 fractures in my right leg, 2 in my knee and 1 in my femur. Officer had extensive damage. He got airlifted to U of M, so it was pretty bad.
Police officer Andrew Haltonen survives, but will spend weeks recovering in the hospital. It's outstanding that everyone who ended up in this fateful spot today escaped with their lives, despite the flood of circumstances that could have washed them to oblivion. Sweden is known for having its share of nasty winters. And this official on live TV is concerned about a traffic circle that's particularly hazardous this time of year. His warning even comes with visual aids. As if to illustrate his point, a speeding sedan takes out a guardrail and flips over just shy of an icy pond. With workers already on site, the 2 men inside are reached within seconds. If there was any doubt the driver was underestimating the weather, it's quickly put to rest by his questionable winter wear. A T-shirt. Fortunately, he and his passenger escaped serious injury. And that's good news for officials, too, who can only hope that this picture is worth 1,000 words. When you're at the mercy of motorized muscle, all it takes is one touch of the gas to go from zero to destruction. Sao Paulo, Brazil. All day long, the men at this car wash toil nose to bumper with idling automobiles to get them sparkling clean. And while working in between one-ton machines has its risks, no one could see this coming. Looks like they missed a spot. Just seconds before, a woman across the street gets into her sedan. But the accelerator sticks, jamming the pedal to the floor. The vehicle roars across the pavement on a one-way demolition trick. One of the men is nearly waxed when the red compact rams right into him. Another employee is just one step shy of being flattened. Luckily, the only victims are the impeccably clean cars. After these wipers were almost wiped out, maybe they'll trade their armor roll for suits of armor. The freeway interchange. A network of hurried drivers whizzing about in a dozen different directions. If ever there was a place for people on foot to be careful, this is it. Good thing these pedestrians in Argentina are heeding the signals and making sure to look both ways. But with a loaded semi racing by overhead, both ways might not be enough. The truck carrying 20 tons of lemons takes the sweeping curve too fast. Below, it's a citrus tsunami. One walker's first reaction nearly becomes his last move. The zestful Dodger flees into traffic and almost gets the pulp knocked out of him. Surprisingly, no one is hurt by the shocking downpour, which is the only way to squeeze a happy ending from this sour turn of events. Daytona, Florida. A speeding biker suddenly forgets that red means stop. Just before he enters a busy intersection, the rider looks back at his pal with the camera and fails to notice the stoplight. The cyclist bounces off one car and smacks another head on. Miraculously, the double impact doesn't kill him.
Okay. I'm fine. I'm so sorry.
But this next Florida man might not be so fortunate. Distracted, he crosses the line, forcing a tractor-trailer off the road. Collision, however, is unavoidable. The heavy hit blasts the 18-wheeler's back axle clean off and crushes the front end of the SUV. Amazingly, the erratic wheelman survives. They say to err is human. But these two drivers proved more human than most. February in Bucharest, Romania can be pretty harsh. A worker is about to tow a van on a trailer through brutal conditions. The motorist prepares by fueling up and scraping all the ice off his windshield. But he's going to wish someone did as diligent a job defrosting the roadway. An SUV loses traction on the frozen asphalt, turning into a 2-ton toboggan. Quick reflexes keep the transporter from being a blood stain in the snow. His rig, however, doesn't survive this winter wipeout. The man takes a moment to lament his wasted hard work. But at least no one has to be put on ice. Despite all his precautions for the chilling journey ahead, nothing could prevent a close scrape with death. Women drivers have a dubious reputation. But maybe there's truth to the stereotype. Stay out of the way of these dizzy dames. Behold the fine art of parallel parking. Some people instinctively understand how to maneuver into any space. Some, however, do not. This female commuter is having serious trouble with a not-so-tight squeeze. The frustrated motorist needs every inch of the ample parking spot. Maybe she's using the touch method to park. A tongue lashing by a passing pedestrian is sure to help. But this gal's no quitter. Ooh, so close. The woman is faced with a riddle, wrapped in a mystery, inside a parking spot. Clearly, what this conundrum needs is more gas. The car rips up the curb in reverse, leaping onto the sidewalk. Now a tow truck will have to do the driving. But after failing to solve this parallel parking puzzle, maybe the lady behind the wheel is better off walking. Escondido, California. Golf is a difficult sport.
Does your mom have insurance?
It takes years of practice to perfect.
Hold on.
And apparently for Stephen Bjork's mother-in-law, just getting to the tee is hard enough.
This was Elena, Jenny's mom's first time driving a car. So I decided to film it so that she could show her husband in Russia how good she's doing.
Maybe it's time to reconsider that idea.
So okay, Mom, you're not gonna drive anymore, right?
Looks like Mom's not listening.
Are you okay, Zhenya? I told you should drive that one.
She's like, it was an accident. I'm gonna be totally fine. Let me drive again.
She's not your typical female driver. She's much worse.
And it only gets tougher on more difficult terrain.
I was debating whether to insist that she not drive the cart or get my video camera. Better keep her foot on the brake. Brake. I think I made the right choice.
Mommy Dangerous mistakes her right for her left and single-handedly turns a day on the links into a potential trip to the hospital.
You should have your foot on her brake.
Thankfully, everyone's okay. One thing's for sure. The next time this wayward golfer takes a swing at steering a cart, she could bring a whole new meaning to the term handicap. Hang on to your bobby pins. You're about to see what happens when a woman decides to put on her makeup while driving. While she applies foundation, it's the cyclist who gets pancaked. He's tossed like a used Q-tip. Incredibly, the rider survives the mascara-laced massacre and explains to her exactly how an intersection is supposed to work. The lipstick leadfoot tries to brush off the blame. If only Speeding Beauty had kept her eyes on the road instead of her eyeshadow, this ugly crash could have been avoided.
Whether they're driving for a living or not afraid of dying, danger on the blacktop is always at your doorstep. And the best way to stay safe is never to underestimate the threat from those who are wild behind the wheel.